Hi guys, it's Tracy from Nova Scotia Living, and it's a beautiful day today. I'm going to make cabbage rolls, and I have to show you what I have it on the table. But to be honest, I don't think I've ever made cabbage rolls the same way twice, because I often put things in just what I have. But I'll show you what I'm going to do today. So I have eggs here. I'm going to put a couple of eggs in the meat mixture. I have 2 packages of hamburger. Oh, I'm getting in a little too close. So all of that sauce, tomato sauce, is my home canned tomato sauce. Here's some home canned sauerkraut. I have a can of tomato soup, or tomato juice, sorry. Some Parmesan cheese. Here's a bag of basmati rice I had frozen in the freezer, left over from a meal before. I'm going to add that into the meat. 2 onions, 1 cabbage. I have some salt. I didn't bring the pepper over, but I'll have pepper. Some onion powder, some garlic powder, some chipotle sauce. We do love our chipotle. I'm going to add just a little bit of brown sugar, a smidge of milk, and actually in my fridge, let me find it. Oh, here it is. I reuse these containers all the time. Why go waste money and buy containers when you have them? These are leftover onions and tomatoes and mushrooms and peppers. Some of them were for pizza we had the other day. Some of them were for donaires that we made the other day. So they're all chopped up, and what I do when I have leftovers like this, I put it in a little food processor, and I blend the heck out of it, and then I add it into the hamburger mixture, and the kids don't even know. My kids luckily do like vegetables, but they don't like them in cabbage rolls. So they don't even know they're in there. They're blended up. They don't even know. So it's good to go. I use up my stuff in my fridge, and it's good for them. So anyways, I'll get the meat mixture together, and then I'll be back. Alright, I just wanted to show you this. These were those leftover vegetables. It's hard to see. Mushrooms, onions, peppers, tomatoes. And this is just one of those little tiny food processors. I do have a big one, but I use the little one for little jobs like this. So this is what it looks like before. Okay, and this is what it looks like after. I don't have a proper lighting in this room, but anyways, it's chopped up nice and small, and it mixes right in. And you seen I had 2 other onions over on the table. I'll cut those up. I'm not gonna process them like this, but we do like our onions too. They add a lot of flavor. But this will be mixed in with the hamburger, and it's ready to rock. Okay, I thought I'd show you this too. It's a neat little gadget I got off of Amazon. I've gone through a couple of these because I use them all the time. But it's a veggie chopper kind of thing. And these little plates come out. I can't find the one with the bigger square, so I'm going to try to cut it super tiny. But I've done carrots and peppers and mushrooms and onions, so it's going to get loud. You got to bang it to make it work proper. Let's give it a whirl. Oh, most of it went through. Let's see. Cuts up nice and small. This is great when I'm doing, if I'm canning soups or stews or anything and have a ton of vegetables to chop. They come with, I think, 3 or 4 different plates, so it cuts at different sizes. But anyways, I just thought I'd show you. Okay, I just added a bunch of stuff to the bowl. I don't know. Let me see how I can do this. Again, I'm just new at this, but I have 2 packages of hamburger. I'll put the estimated ingredients in the comments below, but there's onion powder, garlic powder. I only put 1 onion in because I have quite a bit of stuff in here. 2 eggs, a little bit of milk, a little bit of brown sugar, some chipotle sauce, some salt. Actually, I didn't do the salt yet. Some Parmesan cheese, and the rice. So I'll just put, it seems like a lot. This is about a tablespoon of salt, but I am making a lot of cabbage rolls. And so now, what I do, I'm going to squish it all together. And I just want to say, I wear gloves. I get these boxes of gloves off of Amazon. And they're only $9–10 a box. think 100 gloves come in a pack. For me, I like to use gloves when I do this. If I didn't have them, you know, I could do it without gloves, but if I have the choice, I'm using gloves. Anyways, I just mix this together and I let it sit for a good hour or so, just so the spices and everything can kind of jive together. This one's still a bit. I had to defrost a package of hamburger this morning. I had a fresh pack and a frozen pack. Anyways, this is a great meal, and I thought since it's St. Patrick's month, I guess, St. Patrick's Day is in March, I like to do meals like this and boiled dinners and stuff like that. So there's enough meat here for a lot of cabbage rolls. We'll have cabbage rolls tonight for supper, and I know I'll have some leftover meat. So what I'm going to do with that meat is throw it in a freezer bag and put it in the freezer. So when it gets closer to St. Patrick's Day, I'll take it out and I'll make some more, or I won't, it all depends. Either way, I'll have it in the freezer, and all I have to do is defrost it and get a cabbage from the store. No biggie. So after I get this all mixed together, almost looks like I'm kneading bread, but I'm just trying to mesh it all together. It's certainly cold on my hands. But no, this will sit in the bowl while I fill up my big stock pot, and I'm going to boil that cabbage right there. I know I see people online only do it for a few minutes. I do it for like 20 minutes, and I take the leaves off as I go. I like my leaves nice and soft, easy to roll. That way I know when I bake it in the oven, they're not going to come out too chewy or crunchy or anything like that. So while this is sitting, I'm going to be boiling my cabbage. And when I get that rocking and rolling, I'll be back. Okay, I just wanted to show you this. I've been boiling the cabbage. It's probably been about 20 minutes. And you'll be able to see, well, I don't know if you can see the steam's rolling up, but the leaves will come off a little bit at a time. And I just kind of do this. It's probably not the best way because sometimes it does splash, but I just pick it off and I'll put it over here, and eventually it'll get down real small and I can take the whole cabbage out and take it off with my hands after it cools a bit. But what I do, I leave the hot water on the stove because sometimes these are still a little chewy, and I like my cabbage, I like my cabbage really soft. So I might put all of the leaves back into the pot of water and boil them for another 10 minutes. And I don't want them falling apart completely, but I like them nice and soft. They roll up good. I could roll up these, I could, but I bake them in the oven for an hour. And I don't like cabbage rolls that the cabbage is too chewy or crunchy. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll finish boiling this head of cabbage. I'll put the leaves back in for probably 10 minutes, and then I'll show you what we're going to do after that. Okay, I just wanted to show you, I took the cabbage out of the pot. The water's still rolling, that's for sure. I'm just going to, yeah, this is super hot, but I'm used to it. I'm going to take some of this off. I'm going to try to cut the core out, and it'll fall apart almost like a flower. And then I'll see, I might not have to put all the leaves back in, but yeah, I'll do what I have to. Okay, now I'm going to open my tomato sauce jars and put them into the pot and warm it up. I don't need to make it boiling or anything. I like to warm up my sauce. I don't think you really have to, but it's just what I do. Yep, this was canned in last October 2016. Gosh. And I still have quite a bit down in the basement. I got a really great deal on local tomatoes here. I think I spent like $25 and got, gosh, almost 100 pounds of tomatoes or something. It was incredible. A local farmer. It was perfect. I'm hoping to score like that next summer. And do up a double batch, because I use this for pizzas and chili and lasagna. meatloaf, a whole bunch of stuff. I've never done it, but I want to try to make my own ketchup and my own tomato soup and things like that. I see so many great people on YouTube do this sort of thing, so. Oh, for goodness sakes. There. I think when I can this, there's a little bit of canning salt in it, just a tiny, tiny bit. I put a bit of garlic in it, and yeah, it's pretty basic stuff. Because I like to season my sauce after it comes out of the jar. Season it to taste. But what I ended up doing is I had, oh geez, 3 or 4 slow cookers, and I slow cooked these bad boys, the tomatoes that is, really low for a really long time, with the skins and everything on them. Just a minute, Maze. Mr. Maze wants to come in. I'll have to let him in just a second. He'll make an appearance. Come in and say hi. Anyways, I put them in the slow cooker, and I let them go and go and go and go. At least 12 hours overnight, and then some. And after I took them out of the slow cookers, the skins melted right off of them, honestly. And I pureed them in a food processor. That's when I bought my big food processor. It's just a cheapy one, or you know, a $50 one, nothing big and fancy. And yeah, after they're slow cooked, I pureed them, and then I put them in a big stock pot. Just bear with me, folks. I'm just opening this can of tomato soup, tomato juice. Yeah, pureed them, then put them in a big stock pot, and I have a big stock pot, and boiled them, or you know, simmered them all day, and then I canned it up. Now I only put maybe that much juice in it. I'm going to reserve this because after I do the cabbage rolls, I put a little juice in the pans if it's needed. I find that really adds a lot of flavor. I'm not a fan of drinking tomato juice. It's made of fresh tomatoes, no additives, 1 cup, 2 servings of vegetables. Anyways, I only use this for cabbage rolls and things like that, but it really helps. So I'm going to warm this up, and then we're going to assemble the pans, and pretty soon it'll be showtime. Okay, it's pretty much showtime now. I have Mr. Maze here. I have the camera positioned so much that you might not be able to see him. You might see his hand or something like that, but again, I'm an amateur. So I got my gloves. This, I thought it was sauerkraut when I made it. I got the recipe off of J0 off YouTube, and I guess it's a type of sauerkraut, but it's more like pickled cabbage. And this is the first jar I've opened. You should check out his channel though, because he's pretty cool. My kids, I got 2 forks, one to taste and one to use. I'm not the biggest fan of sauerkraut, but it's really helpful as a condiment on different burgers or sausages. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too salty. This recipe just took a little tiny bit of sugar, which is apparently different because I checked with some canning groups on Facebook, and that's unusual. But anyways, I generally use sauerkraut to line I put a little sauce, which I'll do right now. I put a little sauce, then I put some sauerkraut down, a little more sauce, and yeah, sometimes I top the, I was going to say egg rolls, for goodness sakes, cabbage rolls with sauerkraut too. It all goes down in the same place, right, in your belly. So this sauce I didn't really do much to. I warmed it up. It wasn't even boiling, just to warm it up a little bit because it's been sitting in my pantry, good and cold. I like to warm it up just to wake it up a bit. And I generally would buy sauerkraut from the store. Actually, I've got to use my hands. I find my hands are my best tool in the kitchen, even though they're gloved. They're the best tool. You can do so much. Maze, he keeps stirring the sauce. I don't know if you see his little hand or not. And it just adds a little extra. Sometimes the cabbage, you know what I mean? If you eat up all the cabbage or not, it's a little stringy kind of cabbage. It's good. So it's almost like a cabbage lasagna. Sounds silly, I know, but it's what popped into my head. I have a lot of strange things pop into my head. But as long as I'm not hurting anybody, doesn't matter. So what I plan on doing, I'm going to make 2 cabbage rolls. And like I say, folks, I only boiled 1 cabbage, and I ended up doing it maybe about 30 minutes. And squeeze it out a bit. I did 1 cabbage. If I did more cabbage, I could probably use up all this meat, but I don't think I'm going to end up using it all. Maze, leave it in the pot, please. Like I say, the sauce is warm. It's certainly not hot. Not hot enough to hurt anybody. I just wanted to wake it up. It was hibernating in there a couple of months. Okay. So I'm just going to do 1 or 2, and then I'm going to shut the camera off, and we'll come back when it's all done before I put it in the oven. So let's find a good leaf. I don't know, can you see? There's quite a bit here. Lots of layers, that's for sure. So what I do, again, folks, this is just what I do. I've never really been shown. Maze, you're making a mess, baby. Stop. I gotta move that over. I just had a cutting board there for show, I guess. I cut the core out. Now this isn't the greatest leaf, but it'll do. Waste not, want not, right? Now this core, it can go in your compost. Here in Nova Scotia, I know not all provinces in Canada compost, but we have those big compost green bins, and they come around every other week and pick them up. Now the first few, I don't make these all that often, so it takes me a little while to get it down good. So bear with me, guys. I roll it up and place it in. I'll do a couple more. Oh jeez, that's my phone. I gotta see because I'm waiting on a call. It is. I gotta pause you guys. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I did a few while I was on the phone because idle hands, right? I did a few. This one I just pulled out of the bowl. I just thought I'd show you. Now this looks kind of like a starfish, Patrick the starfish. I will save this. I'm certainly not going to throw it out because at the end, sometimes I have, if I just had a little bit of meat left over, I have a few of these little silver pans, like the little ones, and I would almost make just like I'd chop it up and put a layer on the bottom and a layer on the top with the leftover meat and the sauce. But this one's not the greatest, but I'm using it. Waste not, want not. I honestly forget what I was talking about before, but I'm just going to chit-chat a little bit. I seen my bread video, which was my first kind of tutorial. It was long, and I apologize, guys, but I'm just getting used to this. And I'm a person, I'm not the biggest chatter, but when I'm in my own home, and I'm in my comfortable space, so I could chat all day long about anything. So I'll do 1 more, and then we'll skip. Or you guys will skip, not me. We'll skip to when we're about to put it in the oven. But no, one of my girls is home from school. One of my girls is homesick. Mr. Maze is here. He's always my sidekick. And yeah, life is good. Life is great, actually. We kind of had, well, I can't even categorize it. But today life is great. And yeah, I will show you what it's going to look like right before you put it in the oven. And I'll see if we need to add some tomato juice to it. Okay. Okay, the pans are all done. You see how much meat I have left. There's quite a bit of meat. There's enough there for a good sized meatloaf. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to use up the rest of this. And the rest of this. This is you know, the odd-shaped ones. And make a little one here, and I think I'll bring that into my Pops, because he doesn't make cabbage rolls, and I think it'd be a nice treat. He can throw it in the freezer, or I might throw it in the freezer here and bring it into him one of these days that I go in. So, again, I'm trying not to make this video too long, because I'm a blabbermouth, but I cut out the cores. These ones already have the cores cut out. That's a core right there. Okay, I put the sauce on. I'm not adding any more tomato juice right now, just because I got lots of sauce, but I'm going to put this in a 350 degree oven and for at least an hour, and then I'm going to take it out and check it. There's recipes. I've never done it that long, just because I never thought to, but you can really slow cook this stuff for like 8 or 9 hours, but I'm going to do it at least a couple hours. I'll check it after 1 hour, probably rotate the pans. If it needs juice then, because sometimes the juice will soak in between the cabbage rolls, I'll add some then, and I'll show you that. But right now, I'm just going to put these in a 350 degree oven, set the timer for an hour, and we'll go from there. So, yeah. Don't forget to wrap it up. Okay, folks, this is the third time doing this step. I thought I filmed it, but my little camera keeps dying. I thought I charged it up enough, but I guess not. What I did with the leftover cabbage leaves, I chopped them all up, kind of like how you see on top. I did a layer of sauce, a layer of cabbage, a layer of meat, and you see I got lots left over. I'll probably do up a couple of Salisbury steak patties and put them in the freezer, because that and a side of potatoes and vegetables, hey, that's a great meal. Whip up gravy in seconds. Then I did another layer of sauce, another layer of cabbage, so now it's on par with these two. It's just not as pretty, not that those are beautiful, but hey, they look pretty darn good to me. Now what I'm going to do, because I got lots of sauce here, I probably won't use all this either, and I can freeze this, or I can just put it in the fridge for another meal this week, because I can turn tomato sauce into just about anything. I'm going to cover all of these, and I'll be back. Okay, the kids are running around out in the playroom, and you might hear them squeal and giggle and all that jazz, but that's life with kids. It's not a bad noise. So, this is 2 hours in. That's probably all I'll cook it for. I haven't poked them to see how they're feeling. Woo. You see that? Yeah, you can see that. Alright, let's see these bad boys. Oh, the steam's rising. That's normal. The sauce goes down in. It looks kind of liquidy on top, but it'll all soak back in. Now, sometimes I put Parmesan cheese on top of this, just a little bit. It just makes it look like a dusting of snow, like Nova Scotia in the winter. But I'm just going to let this, I'm going to shut the oven off. It's 5:32. We're having a late supper tonight. We usually eat around 5, but the kids had a late snack. They had some soup. They had some leftover goods from yesterday. This is going to sit overnight, or no, not overnight. It's going to sit for a little while, about an hour or so, and then I'll dish it out. Whoever's still hungry, they can have some cabbage rolls. I will poke it just to see, but yeah, that's pretty tender. Yeah, pretty tender. You see that go in? Maybe you can't see, but it goes in just like butter. So I'm just going to let it sit, and yeah, when it's all ready to dish out, I'll service up a plate. Okay, it's only been about maybe half hour, but I'm really hungry and I just want to take a cabbage roll out and just taste it. Usually this sauce will thicken up a little bit, and oh, it's so good. It really is so good. Now, normally I would serve this with like potato hash, which is just potatoes, cooked potatoes, cut up in chunks, with a bit of onion, fried in a pan of butter, with salt and pepper. It's so good. Sometimes bacon drippings if you got it. But, or you can serve this over rice, or just mashed potatoes, or whatever. It's all good. I'm just going to, I don't know, I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. Let me see. This is just on my countertop. Wonder if I could do this over at my stove. Might be a bit better lighting. Let's see. My stove top is a bit messy right now because that's where I was boiling stuff and it just poured over and I just cleared it away. But it's better lighting. I should have cleaned it up, but hey, it's reality. So I'm just going to cut this open. It's kind of a big bite. Let me see. That'll burn my mouth. I gotta be careful. Let me get this piece. The end piece is kind of unfolding on me. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Yeah, I like this a lot on rice too, like a bowl of rice. And it, all the drippings get in the sauce. You mix it all up with some cabbage and hamburger and stuff. And it's so good. Oh, that's good. It is really good. I could just eat that cabbage just like that with the sauce on it. And it makes me feel good to know that the sauce I use, you can use any sauce and it still turns out delicious, but I know where these tomatoes came from, right from a garden right here, not even a mile away from my house. And it's so good. Canned them with all the skins and seeds and everything. It's perfect for me. And for my family. So, I have this whole pan. I have that little one that I'm going to give to my dad in the oven now. And that whole pan. So, that's not too shabby. Plus, the sauce that I have in the freezer and those 3 Salisbury steaks I'll use one of these days. So, anyways, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. And this is Tracy from Nova Scotia Living signing off. I'm still waiting on the cabbage rolls. There's 13 minutes left. And I'm doing this one-handed because my tripod is being a doorknob, I guess. So I'm going to do it this way. Then I'll tip it up and pour it in. But I just wanted to show you guys what I do when I have extra sauce and anything. Sweet and sour sauce, whatever. I'm doing soup in a pot, chili. I usually put it in a little thing, unless I have somebody to help me, but oftentimes I'm just in the mode of doing it, and I just want to get it done and over with, and waiting on other people's schedule. That's kind of a pain in the behind, if you know what I'm saying. And if you're like me, you completely understand. So, this is I'll have to look at the box, I'm assuming 1 gallon Ziploc bag, and I just put it inside a smaller pot. And when you guys are gone, I'll scrape that out with a spatula. I love spatulas. It drives me crazy when people on YouTube channels don't use it when they scrape out stuff. I like to get every single little drop out of stuff. It drives me bananas. And I know that's just me. I'm not angry or anything, but I'm just like, oh, they could get that. It's like a Q-tip in your ear. It feels so good. I want to scoop out the bottom of a pot of the sauce and get every single little bit. Jeez, I know that sounds gross, but hey, that's how my mind works. Anyways, I will scoop out that, do up this bag. I'll try to flatten it out, because I find stuff, it's easier to defrost when it's flattened out. And it'll be ready to rock whenever I need it. Okay, I'll let you know how the cabbage rolls do in just a few minutes. A few seconds, actually.